Hello and welcome, I am Arumba, thank you for joining me. Let's talk about Mare Nostrum. It just went live today on April the 5th, 2016. Let's read through the patch notes and I will give you my thoughts and opinions on these changes and how they're going to affect gameplay. So, first things first, we have expansion feature only type stuff. This requires you to actually purchase Mare Nostrum, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is retailing right now for about £15 or your local regional equivalent. And then we'll get to the free features and everything else. So first off, Barbary nations can raid for slaves with their ships. This feature is really interesting. I made a separate video specifically about this. I feel like it's really, really strong, but it's also really easy to avoid if you are the player playing in single player against AI. I haven't had a chance yet to experience it in multiplayer. I think it's going to be a lot more interesting in multiplayer than in single player, but it's neat. I like it. It's a cool concept. Steal Maps is a new spy action that lets you conduct a despicable act of thievery and discover all provinces your victim already has discovered in a region. Okay, yay. My personal opinion, who cares? I think it's so... Okay, why would you want to steal maps if you're not a colonizer? Right? If you go to war with somebody, you can just invade their territory and then that's how you reveal terra incognita. If you're a colonizer, you can explore on your own. So I don't know. I don't really see the value in it personally. But hey, it's available. New diplomatic action to share maps, so you can peacefully share your maps now. Hunting naval mission, fleets will hunt enemy fleets in a specific region. Evasion naval mission, they will evade enemy fleets. Blockade naval mission, they will blockade enemy ports. I've had some experience with the blockade naval mission, and I really like it. The hunting naval mission I found was a little bit lackluster, only because the way that it works is you have... sea zones, right? A very large sea zone, for example, might be like the Western European sea zone. So you tell your ships, like, okay, I want you to go hunt enemy ships in the Western European sea zone. And so it'll do that. But then the enemy navy will like flee into the Baltic Sea or something. And then your navy's just like, okay, well, they're gone. So I guess we're done now. And then they just never capture the fleet. So the problem is that if the AI takes their navy outside of the sea zone you're hunting in, then your navy just gives up. So you still need some manual control. But when you're doing things like, I don't know, say you're Holland, just as an example, and you're blockading Scotland, it's super, super convenient to be able to blockade the entirety of Scotland without even have to worrying about it. And what it'll do is, like, let's say that they actually engage one of your navies, all of your other navies will combine, they'll combine in, and they'll fight it. And then they'll spread back out, and they'll blockade again. And they'll go home and repair automatically, depending on the repair settings that you set. It's really quite convenient. It's a fantastic change. Intercept naval mission. It will seek out and destroy enemy fleets near Allied coastline, focusing on troop transports. I haven't had a chance to use that yet. Probably should have, when we were messing around with Morocco. Would have been neat, but yeah, all this naval stuff's really good. The new diplomatic option, unconditional surrender, forces your enemy to send a peace demand for up to 100 war score within 2 months, or call to peace will be gained at twice the normal rate. So, the AI will always do it. A player could potentially ignore the unconditional surrender. I tried it, foolishly thinking that, okay, so I was playing as Holland, and I unconditionally surrendered to Burgundy, thinking that, okay, I'm a secondary participant in a war, he has no occupation, and so I can just peace out, and the only thing he'll be able to take from me is, like, money and war reps or something, because he has none of my land occupied. Beware! It says it in the tooltip, I just didn't read the whole tooltip. When you unconditionally surrender, it transfers control of everything you own to the enemy. So they have full control of your entire country. They'll do whatever the heck they want to you. It could be convenient. The nice thing about it is that it saves your army. So if you are in a war that you know you're going to lose, like maybe against a coalition or something, and you just don't want to get completely wrecked, 20 war exhaustion, all that stuff, it could potentially be better than fighting the war. So there is that. Majorly reworked espionage. Instead of sending diplomats to carry out sustained spy actions, you still carry out sustained spy actions. It's called Create Spy Network, which is the new sustained action. Exactly. Where your diplomat covertly builds up a spy network in another country. Spy networks are size 0 to 100, and espion actions other than build spy network are now instant actions that cost a certain amount of spy network points when used, but are guaranteed to succeed. For example, sow discontent applies to sow discontent. The discontent zone modified to the target country for 5 years. Spy offense modifier was changed to spy network construction and determines the speed at which networks are built. The base construction rate is about 1.5 per month. So it takes you, well, you could just do the math. 100 divided by 1.5 is going to be 66 months, or about 5 years to build up a full network. If you have modifiers, like you say, you take espionage ideas, or if they're your rival, or if you have like a spy advisor, that kind of thing, then it speeds it up, and you can do it a lot quicker. So diplomats are now a little bit more useful, I think, because you can have quite a few people working on spy networks one, and then there's other diplomats working on improving relations. Okay, Paradox, we don't need the Christmas music right now, thank you. Let's listen to something else. Right. My experience so far with espionage. I like it, and I don't like it. Okay, I like the fact that you can do all of these interactions with enemy countries without having to have a diplomat free. Meaning that if you have a spy who is building up the spy network and you want to fabricate a claim, fabricating a claim no longer requires a diplomat, and it also doesn't trigger the 1-month cooldown on interacting with an AI. So that's convenient, because you could fabricate 5 claims at once, and then the next day that claim becomes available and you can declare war tomorrow. Used to be that if you got a claim, you had to wait till the end of the month. Now it's just 1 day later. The other thing is that because it takes you, let's say if you're building 1.5 spy network per month, and so you only need 10 points to fabricate a claim, 10 divided by 1.5 is going to take you 6.66 months, or an average of, about 7 months to fabricate a claim. Compared to before, it used to take a year. And the other thing is that if you have less than 25 spy network strength with an enemy country, there's 0% chance of you getting caught. So this is a really radical change from what they had done in the previous patch. It's very curious. I don't understand why they've done it. They made it so that if you are fabricating claims against a non-rival, now first off, you had like a 3 or 4% chance of getting caught. And if you got caught, it would quadruple the time it would take to fabricate a claim. So potentially you could take 4 years to fabricate a claim. Now you can fabricate a claim in 6.5 months, and it's guaranteed to succeed, and there's 0% chance you can get caught against any country. Isn't that, it just seems strange to me that they've taken a complete 180 on this position, on how likely you are to get caught. The fact that you can never get caught is also a significant reduction in the amount of aggressive expansion that you build up, because it used to be that getting caught would generate like 2.5 or 5 aggressive expansion, as if you were conquering territory, with countries in that culture or that religious group. And so now there's a far, far fewer amount of aggressive expansion points that are going to be generated, because you can just never get caught fabricating claims anymore. So it's very strange. I don't know. We'll keep talking about it as we go through these patch notes. Having a spy network in another country now gives you passive benefits to siege ability and aggressive expansion incurred against that country. It's kind of nice, but a lot of times if you're going to full annex a country, then their aggressive expansion with you doesn't matter. The siege ability is nice, but I don't know that it really makes sense from a strategic standpoint, at least from my campaign experience so far, to like invest the spy for another 5 years just to build up to like 20% extra siege ability. I don't think it's worth it. You're probably better off just improving relations with the other people that will continue to exist after you have pieced out, right? The people who are going to be actually potentially in a coalition. So that's okay. It's nice to have. Study technology is no longer an action, but a discounted technology cost gained from having a spy network in another country with more advanced technology. Size of spy network and how many techs ahead they are ahead of you determines the size of the discount, with only the largest discount for each category being used. So if you get 20% land tech discount from one country and 15% from another, your actual discount is 20%. Now, I haven't had a chance to like fully test this, but I don't believe there's a cap on the discount. You need to note that you have to have the idea espionage. It's the first idea in the espionage idea group that unlocks spy study technology. And again, it is automatic. So if you have 100 spy network efficiency, the way the math works is that you get a 5% discount per tech that they're ahead of you in. So if you're on tech 5 and they're on tech 8, you get a 15% discount on that specific type of technology. And it does, like it says, it compares each different country that you have spy network efficiency with. So it's really nice. It's really, really strong. I still feel like espionage ideas are lackluster, and I only took them in my Holland campaign just to try them out. I still don't think they're good enough to justify taking over something else. So, I don't know. It's cool. It's interesting. Might be more fun in multiplayer. 3 new espionage actions. Slander merchants. Completely god-awful. It's a waste of money. You spend 80 freaking spy network efficiency. That takes years to build up to reduce their trade power by 10%. It's nothing. The AI has a 10% bonus to their trade power just from being a lucky nation. So you spend all of this time and effort just to offset their lucky nation bonus. Ugh. I don't like it. I don't think it's good enough. It needs to be stronger. Sabotage recruitment reduces manpower and sailor recovery speed by 20% for 5 years. That's a little bit more reasonable. It's also, I think, 60, 70, 80 points. I can't remember how much it costs, but it's up there Most of these spy network things, again, this all requires espionage ideas. You can't do it if you're just non-espionage. I don't like this. I wish that they would do this better. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The correct way, in my opinion, is to do it the same way they did Forced March. Forced March was quintessential to the ability to play EU4 competitively. And so they took it out of offensive ideas, and they made it so that every country got it at a certain level, and then they made it so that offensive ideas had something else. I would much rather see that everyone have the ability to do these things, but if you take espionage ideas, you're a lot better at them. Don't make it so you gate it all behind this one idea group that no one's ever going to take, because now we have all these features, all this effort that's been put into the game, and very, very few people are going to use it after they've tried it one time. It's just not something you get excited about taking as a policy or as an idea group. I don't know. This one's pretty strong though. 20% it reduced manpower recovery speed could be pretty powerful. And corrupt officials. This increases their corruption by 0.1 per year for 5 years. For 25 spy network efficiency. So it's very, very, very cheap, which is nice. But in the end of the day, it only gives them 0.5 corruption. Which, it's okay. I mean, whatever. I would have much preferred to see this thing be like, okay, you spend 25 and they get 1 corruption right now. Just instantaneously increase their corruption by 1. I would love that. And then put no cap on it. Just let you do it over and over again. Like if they don't have the defense to prevent you from spying on them and building up your spy network, then they deserve to get wrecked by someone who takes spy ideas. I mean, it just, I don't know. It seems too weak to me. The Mare Nostrum DLC also unlocks the Hunt Pirate mission from the El Dorado DLC. So what this is saying, just to be clear, is that you don't have to have both. It's saying that either of these DLC, either Mare Nostrum or the El Dorado DC, will unlock the Hunt Pirates mission now. Unit View, added naval mission setting panel that allows you to adjust behavior of a fleet when on a mission. It's really quite nice. I've already made a keyboard shortcut for it in my keyboard shortcuts mod. You can rent out condottieri to other countries. This is really cool. There's a couple ideas that you can take that increase the amount of troops you can lend, but you start off with a base of 20 regiments. And be aware, I'm going to give my opinions on this because that's the point of this video. Number 1, the interface is stupid. But number 2, it's really cool and fun to do. So why is the interface stupid? Well, when you're negotiating with an AI, first off, they will only ever accept condottieri if they are at war. So don't try to lend condottieri to someone who's at peace. It just doesn't work. It'll say something silly like, would disband troops, which doesn't mean they can actually disband your troops. It means that they would fire the condottieri. They would return them to the parent country, meaning that they don't want your troops. So it could be more clear there, I think. It confused us for a little bit when we were streaming at the very, very beginning of the DLC. And then the other thing is that it's got this goddamn stupid slider that's you have to like find the exact right point. It's just, I don't like sliders in this context. I really feel like the slider should automatically default to the amount that they would accept. Why do we have to play this game where there's this stupid slider that you have to spend all this time clicking to get to the right spot? It takes so long. It's not feasible to do quickly in multiplayer. It should just default. If you're negotiating with an AI, it should default to the amount that they would accept, but it doesn't. So it's a very cool feature. What it does is you lend your troops to another nation, and they pay you a multiplier of the maintenance cost of the army. The problem is usually that the AI has no money, and they can only afford the condottieri if they have the money up front. So it's rare that you're able to lend them the full 20 troops. You might be able to lend them at a decent pay rate, maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 troops. And then beyond that, they don't have enough money to hire them. So you can lend them some. When you lend them to them, you still have control over the troops, and you're expected to participate in their war. You go and you siege stuff down, you fight battles and stuff, and if you don't participate, then there's like an opinion malice on future lending to other nations. They'll say like, well, you know, your troops are not, like, they don't do something, like you don't use them off like the correct way. So it's really cool. I feel like it'd be better if maybe the AI didn't have to have the money up front, so you could actually like lend them troops, you know, and that'd be good, but I don't know. Maybe if they could just fix the AI and teach them how to actually, you know, economy, that'd be pretty cool. You now press sailors automatically when occupying coastal provinces. Press sailors. I don't know what that means. Press sailors. Generate sailors? Create sailors? Make sailors? Generate? I'm assuming that this is like you gain sailors from coastal provinces if you're occupying them. I don't know what else that could possibly mean. Detached damage is now changed to repair damage. Damaged ships will head to port for repairs. and then reunite with the fleet that they were detached from. Awesome, awesome change. Makes it so that the naval game is no longer quite as tedious. You can now send a diplomat to conduct counter-espionage against a country, increasing the chance of detecting their attempts to build spy networks by 100%. Exactly why these other features should be so much stronger. Like, this is not locked behind espionage ideas. If you're really getting like hosed over by another person, another player, then do this. You know, but these things are just too weak. They need to be stronger. Naval leaders are now allowed to be reassigned to and from ships within supply range. That's nice. So we've got little, what are they called? Tenders, basically. They can take them from the coast over to the cruise ship, basically there. Remote mercantilism. Spend diplo power to strengthen your mercantilism. This is the kind of thing where I wish the patch notes read like this. 100 dip equals 1 mercantilism. So that's the base cost. It costs you 100 diplo points, and you can upgrade your mercantilism. So certain achievements, like the get 100 mercantilism, I think it's called a protected market, are super, super easy now. Basically, just play the game, spend your diplo points on this. Done. Super easy. I'm still not 100% sure if there is still a penalty to your corruption if you have high mercantilism. At one point in the dev diaries, they were saying it was going to, and then they were saying it wasn't, and then when I'm looking in the game right now, it says that it does, but I haven't experienced it yet. So I think high mercantilism does affect your corruption, but I don't know. If it doesn't, like the dev diary says, then why does the tooltip still say that it does? That kind of thing. I don't know. Timeline feature added. Probably one of the best parts, actually. Even better than all the spy stuff. Even better than the ease of use with the Navy. This timeline feature is freaking awesome. What this does is at any point in the game, while you're playing, you can just click a button in the top right corner, right near the time controls, that will allow you to rewind history and play it back at varying speeds, like 1 through 4. But it's way, way faster than the base game speed. I mean, it's really fast. Like, you can play through the entire game in like a minute. Like, it's super fast if you go on the fastest speed. And the thing is, because it's not calculating armies, what it's only doing is it's just calculating who owns what provinces. So, since it's not calculating armies, it runs really, really well. And you could just take your time and see, like, okay, what has Great Britain done this entire campaign? And just go watch it from their perspective, see their acquisition over time. My only complaint about the timeline feature is that they very, very foolishly thought that we would only care about political map mode. There's no religious map mode. There's no culture map mode. There's no economy or development map mode. There's none of that stuff. It's just political. And I feel like they really missed the mark there by not putting in it, at the very least, the religious map mode. Like, people always want to see the religious map mode at the end of my campaigns because people want to know. They want to see, like, what's happened with religion. Well, where did Protestant take root, and did it stick? And it's just the kind of thing, like, come on, Paradox, why didn't you add that in? It's so easy, it must be, right? All you're doing is taking one map mode to a different map mode. Show us both, please. Maybe they can patch that in soon. Patch 1.7, right? 1.17, excuse me. Merchant republics can now form trade leagues, also known as super, super annoying things that prevent you from conquering this stupid little one-province miner next to you. So instead of the one-province miner who is so weak, not being able to get any allies ever because he's too weak, now he'll get, like, 7 allies, and then they all are super, like, just super annoying, and it's a lot harder to conquer Ragusa now, basically. Or it's a lot harder to conquer, like, I don't know, Hamburg or Lübeck or any of those other guys. They all band together, which is good. It's a good thing. It's just, it's annoying because you look at them and you're like, oh yeah, they have no allies. You gotta check. You gotta check now if they're in a trade league. So anyway, trade league acts as a free defensive pact between all members. When the leader of a trade league embargoes someone, all members of the trade league embargo. Does not reduce their trade efficiency. Trade league leaders automatically have a trade dispute CB on any other countries that would be able to generate such a CB via spy action. Okay, so basically it gives them like the Merchant Republic trade dispute against other Merchant Republics type thing. Trade leagues get 20% more trade power from the ships. It's pretty cool. Be fun to play as Ragusa. Try that out. So, wow, we're already 20 minutes in. We've only just gotten through the expansion features. I've been talking a little bit more about my opinions than just reading these, so we'll see. Anyway, free features. You can now grant a vassal their core even if it isn't adjacent to them. Okay. Their core. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to grant them their core, but okay, sure, good. Added a loot map mode. I really like this. This is really, really handy. So instead of having to click on every single province to see how much loot is left, you can just turn on the loot map mode and you can see it. You can see where to position your armies for loot, for ideal looting. It's really convenient. It's a great addition. Naval combat. There is now a chance of capturing enemy ships that would otherwise be sunk based on your admiral's maneuver skill. Again, this is, I don't know why they don't just do this. You just indent and then you say each 1% maneuver equals 1% chance to catch. Done. That was hard. So if you have a 6 maneuver general or a 6 maneuver admiral, then you can they have a 6% on sinking a ship to capture it, which is a lot, actually. Like, you can really capture them. So it might be worthwhile to take on admirals now. Losing a ship now causes the entire fleet to lose morale. The positioning concept has been removed. Introduced naval engagement width, which is the number of ships that can engage the enemy each turn. By each turn, I believe they mean each day. Excuse me. This is not a board game here game.